and welcome to my second vlog as Not So Obvious Watches. A quick update, I've spent the last 2 days desperately trying to review a watch and failed miserably. I think I've lost probably about 72 to 100 odd hours of my life, binned hours of footage, been embarrassed at how bad I was, to the point where I'm going to keep working on it. I've got some ideas about making this better and I will get there. But I do want to start getting some consistency, after I've done one episode. But anyway, I want to get some consistency on what I'm doing here. And so what I thought is I'm going to put something out every Sunday, every Tuesday and every Thursday. I hit something last Thursday. Today's Sunday. I've got to get something out. So what I'm going to do is a really quick idea of where I think I want to take this channel and what I want to do. In some ways, I'm not going to be that interesting. I'm going to be the same as a lot of other people. The sorts of things that people want to do are the sorts of things I want to talk about. People talk about best watches under $500, best watches under $1,000, best Rolex alternatives, what to buy for this, who this would be for, what's going on in the industry. I'm going to do all of those things. One thing I would say is I'm going to talk about watches I don't own. Sometimes I'm even going to talk about watches I haven't even seen in the metal or worn on my wrist. Other people don't like doing that, but that brings me to, in a sense, the whole problem that I see with the YouTube community, the name of this channel and why I was motivated to do it. If I go through my watch box, I'll find that I've got half a dozen Alpinas, I've got 3 Fortises, I've got 2 Edocs, I'm in the process, I'm waiting for, I've got 2 Mitos, I've got a King Seiko, I've got a bunch of other watches from smaller brands such as Dreyfus & Co. or Louis Erard that simply get no mentions in anywhere on YouTube. There are literally hundreds of, if you look at the list of companies that go to Baselworld, there are literally hundreds of companies that never even get mentioned on YouTube. It's always the same players. Rolex, JLC, Omega. If I hear one more person say Oris is a company we don't talk about, when in fact Oris is constantly spoken about, that sort of thing. So I'm going to try and look at exactly the same sorts of issues that other people look at, but from a different perspective, with a different set of watches. So I'm not going to say, if you want a Rolex alternative, if something I'm putting together right now, if you want an alternative to the Rolex Datejust, I'm not going to say something like the IWC Engineer and the Omega Aquaterra. Those are great alternatives. They're also so obvious. Everyone says them. They are the same. But that does not mean they're the only alternatives. What about, in my case, for that particular issue, what I've been thinking of is an alternative to a Datejust. If you've got Datejust money, but for some reason the Rolex brand doesn't talk to you, a Bulgari Octo sounds perfect. Or a Piaget Polo S, or what was the other one I was looking at? Oh, the Glashütte Original 1970s. These are wonderful watches that no one talks about. So I'm going to be looking at, where do these watch brands that no one talks about fit? Often I'll refer to Rolex or to Omega because they are well-known industry benchmarks. They are the benchmarks that if I say a Speedmaster comparison, you know where I am talking about, you know where I'm starting. If I was to start from saying what we're going to talk about is a comparison to what would be alternatives to Bulgari Octo, the conversation doesn't go anywhere, because most of the time is going to be spent explaining to most people what a Bulgari Octo is, what a Fortis Cosmonaut is, what an Edox Geoscope is. So I'll probably often use the obvious watch as a jumping off point to talk about less obvious watches that people might otherwise never hear about. So that's really where I plan on taking this channel. Not really going to do rants. Rants are a popular thing. Anyone who knows me in IRL would know that I go off on rants myself all the time, but I don't think I want to do that here. I will probably have a schedule going something along the lines of, I have a theory, because I have a lot of theories. Again, anyone who knows me IRL will know that. So it'll be things like, and often what I'll do is I'll respond to things which I see happening in the YouTube zeitgeist. I tend to watch a lot of YouTube. I tend to watch a lot of YouTube watch presenters. I clearly haven't learnt much from them, but I'm trying to. The guys I like are people like Adrian at Bark and Jack, Joy at Time Teller, Jody at Just One Watch, Frederico, TGV. I tend to stay down. Teddy Baldassar I quite like. There's a couple of others, and I'll probably end up figuring out how to feature them in my channel so that I can they turn up in that sidebar. I'm still working out how the whole YouTube studio thing works. So what I'll often do is I'll write a piece that bounces off something that they've done. Time Teller might do a part, Jory over at Time Teller might do a part on why it is that people get particularly sensitive about Invicta. I might bounce off that and give my theory on why that is. It's so much better doing it this way, so much cooler doing it this way and actually just talking rather than trying to desperately type out really super long comments in comment threads that may or may not get read. So that's really where I plan on going. Talking about the sorts of things that probably most YouTubers are talking about in the watch game, but looking at it from a different perspective. Actively seeking out watches that people don't know, don't see, have poor distributions, and doing some research to look at the same issues from a different perspective. That's what I intend to do. That's where this channel is going. Hopefully I become a better presenter. I'm kind of learning on the job of how to do this, so with a bit of luck you'll see how much better I get. It is constantly embarrassing watching other people's videos and going, they are so polished, I wish I could be like that. What's really weird is I talk to audiences all the time. That is kind of what I do. I'm normally not bad at it. I'm just really struggling in front of the camera. I don't understand why, but hey, it's a learning experience and we're never too old to learn. So, I'm Pete McConville. This is the second watch. This is my second vlog on Not So Obvious Watches. That's where I'm going. See you later. And stop.